Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Near record-breaking snowfalls in Minnesota and North Dakota have left behind a hefty amount of snow. And that has a lot of you wondering if we'll have a wet spring and major flooding. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer has been looking into the latest report from the National Weather Service, and she joins us in the studio now with the latest. Melanie?
Andrea, I have the report right here, and it says the threat of significant flooding caused by snowmelt has increased across the Red River Valley. There's a high risk of moderate flooding here in the FM area and in the northern valley like Grand Forks. Now, there's a lot of different numbers in here, but here's the ones that could impact you the most. In areas like Oslo and Pembina, they're facing a high risk or 65% chance of major flooding. There's a medium risk of significant flooding in the FM area and in Grand Forks on the Red River and in Abercrombie on the Wild Rice River. For other parts of the valley, they're facing a pretty low risk that's less than 35%. And in other cities around North Dakota on the Cheyenne River, there's also a low risk for any flooding. Meanwhile, over in Minnesota, places like Hawley and Dilworth on the Buffalo River could also be facing a medium risk of moderate flooding. Now, these are just the preliminary numbers right now. The National Weather Service will be sending out an update on the flood outlook for this spring next week. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Melanie. Some other factors that have yet to be determined could be more snow, along with the rate and timing of the snow thawing out and melting. Disturbing video has surfaced of a dog being shot to death by several people in Wadena, Minnesota. On Sunday, the Wadena County Sheriff's Office received a report of a dead dog at a campground in Wadena County. When deputies arrived, they found the dog on the river. 2 days later, the Sheriff's Office began receiving calls related to a video posted on Facebook that showed someone shooting a dog. In that video, it shows someone shooting the dog one time and then another person kicking snow on the dog. The Sheriff's Office tells us they are investigating what happened. We'll have more on this story tonight on Valley News Live at 10. We are really enjoying this mild weather while we have it. It won't be long before more snow moves in. In the meantime, though, Hutch, a quiet evening ahead of us?
For the vast majority of us, yes. There are a few areas seeing a few flakes of snow of pretty insignificant consequence as we head into the evening. Those snowflakes are centered in the Devil's Lake Basin. Snow reports in Crookston and Fergus Falls from time to time as well. Here is a picture, and you can see that it really is not impacting road surfaces too much, but certainly we could still have areas with slippery conditions. Clouds have built back into the FM area, and that will likely be the case for many of us tonight, with temperatures slowly falling because of the clouds. Grand Forks will also see temperatures slowly falling to around 10 degrees by tonight. Andrea, record-setting snowfall amounts in Grand Forks and Minneapolis for the month of February, 22.3 inches there. And that takes their annual total to over 50 inches for the year. Fargo, we have a top 3 February going here, and it won't take much to get over that and be the snowiest February here. I'll have details on another round of snow that begins tomorrow. How much will we get? We'll answer that and talk about your weekend here in a minute.
A lot of places have a lot of snow.
We do.
Yeah, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
A North Fargo woman reached out to our whistleblower hotline after she says she went over a week without receiving any mail in her mailbox. She says despite clearing snow off the driveway and the sidewalk, the mail carrier refused to deliver to her home, adding that her neighbors continued getting mail, even if their walkways weren't clear. She says after 7 days, she went to the post office only to find a large stack of envelopes waiting for her. And inside were multiple bills that were now late and even jury duty summons.
There was no reason that we hadn't received our mail. We didn't get any notice in our mailbox, anything like that.
We'll have more on this woman's story tonight, along with her frustrations. That's Valley News Live at 6. Authorities in Polk County have arrested the man accused of shooting up cars in a hospital parking lot. The sheriff's office says 71-year-old Roland Vanderplatz was arrested yesterday in Mahnomen for terroristic threats and reckless discharge of a firearm in the city of Fosston. Around 5 this past Sunday morning, an Essentia Health staff member found bullet casings in the hospital parking lot. Deputies then discovered 2 employee vehicles with bullet holes in them. Charges are pending against a Moorhead driver involved in a 3-vehicle crash that shut down part of I-94 in South Fargo for over an hour. The crash happened just before 9 last night in the eastbound lanes near University Drive. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says 42-year-old Cody Parr swerved to avoid a minivan, but clipped its back bumper, lost control, and crashed with a semi. Both Parr's pickup and the semi ended up in the ditch, but no one was injured in that accident. An Arvilla, North Dakota man is recovering after his minivan crashed with a freight train. It happened last night around 10 on Highway 18 in Larimore. 48-year-old Peter Eider was heading south on Highway 18 when he collided with the train. Eider was taken to the hospital, but troopers say he's facing non-life-threatening injuries. Memorials for the two women shot and killed in Nevis have been arranged. A memorial service will be held for Heidi Pierce and Candy Gucci this Saturday at 2 at the Bethany Lutheran Church in Nevis. Instead of flowers, people are urged to make donations to their local domestic violence shelters. Family members say the two were killed by their brother-in-law, Bryce Bellamo. Police tell us after shooting both women, Bellamo drove off in their car with one of them in the passenger seat. Investigators say he eventually got out of his vehicle and fired at officers. Bellamo then returned to his car where he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Chicago police are accusing Jussie Smollett of orchestrating a publicity stunt that scarred the city and its reputation. The Empire actor is now facing a felony charge that could bring time in prison. Kenneth Craig has the latest from New York.
Chicago's police superintendent shared his personal outrage at evidence Jussie Smollett staged a fake hate crime in a city already dealing with racial tensions.
Empire actor Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. I'm left hanging my head and asking why. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations?
The Empire actor turned himself in overnight, accused of filing a false police report, and was charged with felony disorderly conduct. Police say he hired two men to beat him, splash him with bleach, and put a rope around his neck, and they identified a possible motive.
This stunt was orchestrated by Smollett because he was dissatisfied with his salary.
The 3-week investigation broke open when police questioned two brothers as possible suspects. They became witnesses instead.
The fact that Jussie hired these two guys to stage this for his benefit and then spin this into a criminal investigation put them in a really tough spot as well.
Smollett appeared in court where the judge set bond at $100,000. He has insisted his story was true, but police say it was a publicity stunt that distracted from real crimes with real victims. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
The felony charge could bring up to 3 years in prison and a fine covering the cost of that investigation. The first medical marijuana dispensary is expected to open in Fargo on February 28th. This will be the first time qualifying patients and designated caregivers can purchase medical marijuana in North Dakota. The Botanist Dispensary is operated by Acreage Holdings on 13th Avenue South in Fargo, across from Target. If a qualifying patient or designated caregiver wants to enter the display area of a dispensary, they must have their registry ID card.
And this will make them feel safe and know that somebody loves them.
Hugging a teddy bear can make anyone feel better, and that's why students from Lewis and Clark Elementary School have been collecting teddy bears and donated them today to Cass and Clay County Social Services. The students collected 161 new teddy bears and other stuffed animals at their school during National Kindness Week. Donations came from school, staff, students, families, and the community.
I think it helps show them that little people can do great things. It doesn't take a lot of effort to make a difference in the life of one, if not 161 kids who are going to receive these bears.
The donated bears will be used by Cass and Clay County Services for children in crisis situations to provide some needed comfort. We Care Bears was started in San Diego in 2013. A new music festival is bringing some of the biggest names of pop, rock, and country to the Twin Cities. It's called the Twin Cities Summer Jam, and with only part of the lineup released, the new festival is already turning heads. Organizers say Aerosmith, Tim McGraw, Pitbull, and Rascal Flatts will be performing at the 3-day event. It'll take place at Canterbury Park from July 18th to the July 20th. Tickets for the Twin Cities Summer Jam go on sale March 1st. One of the members of the pop band The Monkees has died. Peter Tork, guitarist for the group, which registered hit records and a hit TV show in the 1960s, passed away at the age of 77. Tork's sister, Ann Torkelson, confirmed his death to the Washington Post, but did not cite a cause of death. Tork had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer a decade ago. Tork, along with Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, and Michael Nesmith, were brought together as a group for an NBC TV show about a pop band in 1966.